Hey there, Steve Gamache with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review, and this time we have the Kohetsu Western or Yo handled HAP40 Bunka 175mm knife. So this line of knives has a 3-layer construction. The center core hard cutting edge steel. In the middle of the 2 layers on the outside is what's known as HAP40 semi-stainless steel. It's a high edge retention steel that takes a little bit of work to sharpen, but it's not too bad. It's compared to a lot of steels that have really great edge retention like this one at a high heat treat like the 65 Rockwell that it's at, which is a pretty hard heat treat. This is pretty darn reasonable to sharpen with good stones. So you get really nice performance, great edge retention, and yet the sharpenability is not too bad. The construction is a layer of soft stainless cladding on either side of that core steel that wraps around the top of the knife. In practice, you'll find that this cladding tends to be kind of semi-stainless in behavior, and it will stain a little bit and maybe get a light patina depending on what kind of things you're cutting and how often you wipe it down and so on. So don't be surprised if you get a little bit of patina on that cladding, as well as the core steel. Tends to give it kind of a nice workman-like appearance once you get a patina or some staining built up on it, but you could always polish that out. The weight and dimensions should be similar from knife to knife. This particular one is 168 grams or 5.9 ounces. Edge length right about 178 millimeters from the tip to the back of the heel. That's about 7 inches, and the overall length is right around 300 millimeter or a little under 12 inches, 11.7. Thickness, these are pretty well just the same thickness all the way down the blade. So these are around 2.1 millimeters thick, and it pretty much just stays that way. And then this is a Bunka, so you kind of have that reverse sword tip on it. And so you make that corner here, and then it thins out. These thin out pretty nicely towards the tip, so they do a nice job thinning that out at the tip. And they're pretty thin at the edge. Not quite as thin typically as the or Japanese handled versions of these knives. Those tend to be slightly thinner on the grind, but not a lot of difference, but a little bit. These tend to be a little stouter, a little stiffer blades, maybe oriented a little bit more around maybe a pro kitchen where you want just a little bit more resilience to them. The blade height is about 46.5 millimeters at the back, and plenty of clearance for your fingers on a pinch grip, no problem there. Handles are a brown pack of wood, which is a stabilized wood product. Really nice fit and finish on these. You get a full stainless steel tang that goes all the way through the blade, the handle. You got stainless rivets, really well done. Bolster here that flows right into the blade, so very nicely done. Nice fit and finish. Let's get our beauty shot here. The handles on these are just kind of medium size. They don't have a particularly rounded feel to them. There's kind of a flat slab here and a little bit of an edge there. It's nothing, of course, objectionable. They're just not quite as round as some handles, but you get a nice lock-in on the grip that way as well, though. Balance point on these, as you might suspect, not being a real big blade with that full tang and all that at the back. There's your balance point there, just in front of that bolster, right behind the choil, which is the back part of the blade here. So these are fairly stiff, nice fit and finish. Let's close it up here a little bit. So there's some embossed kanji, a couple different sizes, and these are a little hard to tell. It's hard to get the lighting just right, but you can kind of see the cladding line right there. And then this shiny part is basically a performance enhancing move by them. When they grind it down, they tend to taper it down towards the edge here, and so you have that kind of mirror polished area on the right side of the blade as you'd be holding it. To kind of thin it out towards the edge for performance. And then typically on the left side of the blades, they don't do that. You just have the actual edge bevel on them. So this is the left side of the blade as you'd be holding it. But nice fit and finish. You got a little bit of relief on the corners of the spine and some relief on the corners of the choil. So they're very comfortable. Nice out-of-the-box edges on these, typically 6, maybe 7 out of 10. Pretty doggone good out-of-the-box edges on these, and they're ready to rock and roll. Let's see here. Let's look at the balance point. Again, this steel is really known for its edge retention. They kind of came up with the moniker voodoo steel because the edge just wouldn't die on them when Mark was testing it out. And a lot of the professionals agree that this steel has great edge retention capabilities. yet it's not too bad to sharpen. So here is your profile. You'll see you got a little bit of a flat spot which kind of rolls into the heel, but not a lot. Every one of these will be just a touch different, but this is the general profile. And then the tip's fairly low, which is typical of this style. So I'm starting to dig in the tip about right there. So we're not talking a big rocker here, but Bunkas typically don't do that with the tip. But you've got a little bit of belly towards the front there. So this will definitely do some chopping towards the back, glide cutting, push pull cuts, that kind of stuff. It's just not going to be a real high rocker, but that's not generally the style of this knife anyway. So, but really nice kind of workhorse set of blade with high hardness, great steel that's reasonable to sharpen, but will hold an excellent edge for a long time. So this is the Kohetsu Westerner Yo HAP40 Bunka 175mm knife.